So in many ways, I find myself back where I started, and yet not at all where I started. There's still this desire within me to express something without knowing how to express it. This spark that I got from a Wax Taylor song. It said, there's something that I want to express, but I don't know what it is I want to express or how to express it. I was in conversation with a friend this week. We hold space for each other for somatic healing and what I consider to be truth-telling and heart connection and expression and some shamanic journeying. And from that space, and in that specific moment, it was feeling like I was like surrounded by this like dense fog of not being able to see around me. And I just got this reminder of this golden tunnel and this just like this space of like moving forward step by step, despite all of the noise and the chaos and the density around me and in the world. And just remembering this tunnel of like silence, of protection, of it being okay to just be going really inwards in many ways, and connecting to that silence, connecting to the heart, and the desire to express comes from that space. And when I know that it comes from that inner and silent space, I know that there's something there for me. I have these memories of expressing in this way and on this channel over the last 5 years, despite having taken a good long break this last year and really diving deep into motherhood and tuning back into my desires and what it is I'm really looking to create, how I want to contribute, what I want to be doing with my time and my energy. I think most people will know that being a parent really refocuses you on what is absolutely essential, what's most important, how we want to be using our time. And I find myself going back to that tunnel-like space, that space within more and more often. And still, yes, desiring to express. In some ways, the expression experiment zigzagged back and forth into different places, and I'm wanting to come back to expressing from that silence, from that like tunnel space, from that truth, from the heart, because what really feels good to me as I reflect on the memories of the expressions in this space is and has always been the sparks that come from it, the sparks of inner knowing and contemplation and questions and deep personal truths that can be shared and revealed, sparked from within, that can spark within someone else something, life, inner truth, love, peace. And so I want to come back to doing this to see how it feels to do it from continuing to connect to the silence and the intention. Because in many ways, I've been and have always been within my life going towards following my desires, following life, following my curiosity. And in so many ways, I have everything that I've ever wanted, and yet there's some piece missing. And somehow I feel like it's this. And I've questioned myself a lot about why that is, what that is. Because with this space of social media, as I've shared here before, I feel like there are a lot of traps, a lot of tricks, a lot of places that we can get into the ego. And it's always so clear to reconnect to the why of why we're doing this. And despite being aware of that, going in, I still started falling down these paths and into these crevices and spaces where I was beginning to create and express from ego, even though I was trying to convince myself that that's not what it was about. But it stopped feeling nourishing for me, and at the end of the day, that's what I want the most as well. I want to be creating from a place of overfill and from, well, that's not always totally possible, but to at least be nourished by the creation as well, which I think is also really key. In anything that we're doing. Because I feel like that's what life wants for us. And that's part of our evolution. I feel like that's what we're here to create more of for ourselves and for humanity. More spaces for people to feel nourished and to feel deep meaning. And so the 3 key words that I often used when I was expressing in this space was that it was a space for expansion, and the word that's coming to me now is just like contemplation and connection to myself, to ourselves, and to something more. But that something more I was always feeling was like outside, but I'm seeing that through the connection to ourselves, it's really inside the something more. And so I want to share about that. I want to share about just the path of gnosis, the things that continue to be revealed just in that like fogginess, in the like all of the noise and the clutter. I've asked myself time and time again, do I add to that noise? Do I add to that chaos? If I do, it needs to be useful. And how do I make that useful? always like weaving back into these spaces of mind and planning and injecting something that is not coming from here, when I've always been called to express from here, to express from the heart. And I've experimented with the different ways of doing that and what that means. At one point, it was about feeling and expressing emotion because I needed that. But that's not what this needs to be now anymore. It's more about, again, contemplation and truth. Sharing discoveries, but also questions. Because again, despite there being a lot of noise out there, a lot of it is not coming from that quiet, centered space. And that is something that I can offer for those who are willing to appreciate it. I think that's all that needs to be said today. Thank you for your time and attention if you've listened until here. I wish you peace, joy, and connection. Lots of love.